Unscramble your mind. Unscramble your mind. Unscramble your mind. Unscramble your mind. Stop wasting time. Unscramble your mind. Stop wasting time. Unscramble your mind. Stop wasting time. Unscramble your mind. Unscramble mind.
Happy Sunday. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Daughters of the Sea here.
Hey y'all, this Nisha, and it is Sunday. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Something might be going on with Freedom. Dulcie.
Yeah, sorry, I can hear y'all now. I couldn't even hear anything before. Peace, y'all. Happy Sunday. Peace and love. I'm Dulcie.
Yes, yes. And I think oh, Freedom, you back? Okay, so maybe her computer went out. But welcome y'all. Happy Sunday. How y'all doing? Shout out Archive T. She was the first one in the chat. How are you, sis? C. Johnson. Welcome, welcome. We're happy to have y'all here. So tonight we're going to be talking about deed theft. Um, it's sort of going to be like an open panel tonight. So we'll drop the link, and if any of you want to hit the link, come up and add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to. But we're going to be talking about deed theft that's occurring. I don't know if you guys are aware, but I am a native New Yorker, right? I was born and raised in New York City, and there's always been ever since, especially with gentrification coming in, there's always been a high number of deed theft cases. But now in Brooklyn, especially in the Bed-Stuy area, so shout out to my Brooklyn peeps, this is happening more and more, where you have a lot of seniors losing their home due to predatory lending. You have a lot of forgery going on with documents, and a lot of it happens when the inheritance or when the property is passed down from family to family. And we talk about that a lot here on this show. The importance of land, the importance of inheritance, like how to protect yourself against things like that. So I thought that it would be a really good conversation, sort of just to get into. And so I have a clip that I want us to watch together. I'll be dropping a link, either me, Nisha, somebody's going to be dropping the link soon. Dulcie, you could drop the link whenever you're ready. And you guys can come up if you have any experience with this. If you know someone who went through something like this, I would love to hear that. But yeah, it's going to be, I think that this is an important topic. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. Nisha, I'm going to
Yes, and
need you
let
to
me be
share that.
IT for a second. Sister Freedom, just come in on your phone. Go to your email and come in on your phone. That should work for you if your computer's not working. And then, I can drop it in the chat. If it drops me, just let me come back up.
Uh-oh, what happened? Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Okay. All right. So while Freedom is working that out, I guess we can get it started. But before I get started, those Dulcie and Niche, do you guys have anybody in your family ever been affected with deed theft, or do you know anyone that went through this by any chance?
Nope, not at all.
Okay. 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 So let's get started. Oh, here go Freedom. Okay.
Because I knew
because of all the craziness, it's like I felt like a jail. Like, so this is how I had the paper here. I had the paper here because I knew they were going to come at some point. No, yeah, it's like a jail. Like I have keys. Like, look, I got keys here. I got to keep keys here. Like I keep keys everywhere. It's a battlefield. Like literally, like you can't even go outside. Oh, make sure it's locked. The day that they did come, with that silver car, they was parked there for 2 hours.
Can
So
you
they
pause that real quick,
stayed for
Nisha?
2 hours, and they'll come and they'll find.
Sorry, real quickly, just to give you guys some context. Um, so I believe the sister's name is Sharmella, but a couple of the clips about what she and her family's been going through has been going viral. This is in, I believe, Bed-Stuy, not Brownsville. I believe this is Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn. And she's going to be talking about, she went to jail recently. They locked her up for this, but she's going to be explaining her story just in terms of how they got caught up with this deed theft. So I just wanted to give you guys some context to what you're watching. Okay. All right, go ahead. You got it, Niche.
They'll park everywhere, and then they just wait the sheriff to come on the scene, and then once they could get access to get in the property, then they'll all rush in. Hey, how are you? Listen, about the mail lady. She was here the day when they was all out here. So everyone is aware. You know, this is not like no secret or anything. Everyone is aware of what's going on, even the mail lady. And then eventually we started looking back into the cameras, and then we saw that as soon as the sheriff came, that's when he came out the house to go inside his property. But what we realize what he was trying to do was get it into the property, go upstairs because we have a latch, and then he would have just walked over and try to open up mine from upstairs. Well, his jacket had FDNY, so like and that's what they hire. They hire skilled people, like a firefighter. Of course, a firefighter can go up and down the building and cross over, and that's what they are trained to do. But this property is it was my great uncle's property. When my family migrated here from my grandparents are Cuban descent. It's my grandmother's house, 225 Jefferson over there, and her brother lived here. Her doctor, you can still see the pole there. That was her doctor's, this house right here. You see the pole, this pole? That was the doctor's office. But I've been coming here ever since I was a baby. So they bought this house in 64. I was born in 71. So they had lived here for years. They came through that whole Harlem Renaissance, and then they migrated here too.
So your situation started when your family decided that your father needed to be in a guardianship.
And my sister applied for the guardianship because we saw that he was being taken advantage of. He had married this woman that we didn't know nothing about. We went on a trip and he asked to use our phone and said, "Oh, let me call my wife, Karen." We were like, "Your wife? You had a major divorce." So we was like, "Who did you marry?" Like, Dad. My father had a huge house right there in Clinton Hills, 63 Gates Avenue. My father had that big, huge corner house. So I told him when he sold this, probably like, "Dad, be careful," because I knew he was going to have a lump sum of money. Just be careful. There's going to be a lot of people around. She took $17,000 at one time, vanished and gone. And she did a quick claim deed on his property because he had a prenup and everything. So we were like, wait, we saw that she was trying to take my father out the country. We was like, oh my God, she's going to do something to him. And we need to make sure we're over our father to secure him. And this is what he would want it. And us not having no idea, we walked into an actual RICO. We walked into a crime syndicate. I said, "Dad, you're always in the lion's den." And he said, "And you're going to be the one to get me out." And here I am. A little history on our block. This house right here, this is the family here. So this is the Woolworths family. That was my grandmother's house. Where that air conditioner is, that was my grandmother's room. So, and it's still in the family. They've all been paid off. They've been paid off for years.
It's easier for them to do the fraudulent schemes when the houses have been paid off.
Yes, right. Sometimes they'll create a mortgage. You don't have no idea about it. Like some of the cases that we see, they created a mortgage and then they start a foreclosure action against you. And a lot of times, if you're alive, you can't even explain when this occurred. Or some people, they passed away and then the family realized that it's on their property and they can't explain what happened. They're
Right.
like, well, did their parents have a mortgage? Did they not have a mortgage? And
Is this the
that's
church
the
we're
church.
talking about?
Yes.
That was part of the
The
underground.
ground,
Railroad?
yep. This is yep. Church is part of the Underground Railroad. I think what is it? The year 176 years. So most of our properties is like 200 years old.
Oh,
So
wow.
they celebrated this past year 176 years. So this is part of the Underground Railroad. They came through here. Yes, this is where I grew up. Every weekend we
Can
came
you
here.
pause it? Can you
Every
pause it,
holiday
Niche?
we came here. My grandmother's house was full of grandkids. The house was all family.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So just real quickly, I think Freedom, I heard you asked me a question earlier. I think I heard it. What were
Mhm.
you asking?
I was saying, can you explain? Could you? I believe the word that you're using is DDAP.
Deed theft. Deed theft.
Deed theft. Oh, girl, I was trying to understand because my computer had went out. I was like, okay, all right. I was trying to hear what you were saying. No, all right, I got you now. Deed theft. Okay.
Deed theft, yeah,
Mhm.
right. So and this happens a lot, and if you were listening, she's mentioned the fact that the houses were paid off already, but typically what happens, and this happens, I mean, it's different circumstances for different people, right? But
Mhm.
let's say you have a home that's paid off, for example, and you have X amount of money in equity, right?
Mhm.
And oftentimes, especially with with senior citizens, you know, they might need cash real quick, something might have happened. And if you don't go through a bank, right? Oftentimes you'll go through these third party credit lenders. And what's been happening is that a lot of them are fraudulent. Okay. Or when you're trying to take a loan or equity out of your home, for example, people are signing documents, maybe not really understanding what they're signing, especially if you are in your 80s or your 70s or what have you,
Mhm.
and trusting, right, that the place that you're doing business with is reputable, only to find out that they're not, right? That is completely fraudulent. And so a lot of people have been caught up, a lot of families have been caught up in this, and it's very unfortunate, right?
Mhm.
And so if we think about, even, you know, we talk about on this show a lot, we've talked about, you know, when we think about like the amount of land that was lost from like the 1920s to now amongst quote unquote black families throughout the United States, right? And how do these things happen? And we always talk about it in historical terms, forgetting that this shit still happens today. It's just remixed and updated. Okay. And so I just wanted to add that to it real quickly, and then we can continue on. Go ahead, Nish.
It was like how people rent. It wasn't that. If it was rented, it was only rented to family members to buy the house next door. So you stayed with a family member, got your money together, and you bought right next door. We enjoyed our space. Our space is very sacred to us. The stuff that we did like, or I did like as a kid, is no longer here. Like there used to be like a little penny store around the block when we used to go all the way to church.
What's a penny store?
It was like a candy store, and you would get like a whole bunch of candy in a paper bag.
Wow. A whole bunch?
What? A penny? You have $1? Oh my God, I would have candy for the week. And then we went back into our space. Our grandmother cooked. It was a party, and we stayed home. So our space is very sacred to us. Well, where I'm at gives me everything that I need, and everyone deserves it. This block right here, there's about 5 houses that they stole.
Wow.
They are just stealing them, like having this house right here
On the corner?
in the corner. This used to be owned by.
I see the sale sign.
Let me tell you, this was a government building. This was a boys' home.
Wow.
Yeah, this was a boys' home. Like we couldn't go down this block because this were all like the juvenile little boys used to live in this house. And you see what it is now. It has a pool in it. This particular property here, see how they have those chains and stuff like that on the property? Those are indications too. See how they have that big, like the chains on the doors and stuff like that? That is a indication. Hold on a second. Yeah, I'm gonna take a.
Okay,
Yeah,
pause that, Nish. Pause
we
that.
right here. I'm just gonna show them 286, and then we walk it back. Was like the beginning of.
Thank you. So I just wanted to. So what do you guys think so far? from what you're hearing?
Uh,
What do you think about what you're hearing so far?
well, I'm gonna say that I feel as though because I can't think of next, but I think it's really bad. It's really sad, and I'm wondering that what if an elderly person passed away and they paid their house up and everything, but they didn't really have a will. But a family member came up and said, well, this was my uncle or my aunt's house or my grandmother or however. They didn't know the house was paid for and they want to, live in the house, but they didn't leave it on the will or what have you. I'm wondering, could they do it or will the bank say, well, no, it's ours. But because you are blood kin, I'm wondering if they could do that.
Well, my understanding is that, and this is why it's so important, right? Like for documents to be in place and for us to have a will and for us to be locked in, especially when you have property and talking to our kids about things like that. But typically, wait, hold on, Freedom. Repeat that last piece because I want to make sure I answered your question.
Right. Because it's
Repeat that last part.
Okay, the last part was I'm wondering if a family member can fight it, like and say like, like, well, this was my aunt's house. Y'all just can't take the house. The house was, was paid up. It's already, paid up and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like these people just taking the houses is there anything that I'm trying to figure out what can you do about that? Because you don't have no paperwork. You just know that it's been said in the family that the house is paid for. So
well, technically, legally, lawfully it's supposed to go to your next legal heir, right? So like right, that's how it should happen. But when you are if you don't know that, right? Or if let's say you're going to claim property, for example, and there's X amount of back taxes that might be owed on the property, or there might be fines, right? Or there's been families in many cases where they don't even know that their homes are being auctioned, right? Because technically you're supposed to make it public notice. So they're not even getting notice of that. So, for those of you who may have time and may be interested, because we don't have to watch the entire thing because it is like 33 minutes. But it's going on literally like today. One of the congressmen of New York City, I think his name is C-H-I. Osei, Chai Osei or Chi Osei, or what have you. It's been getting so contentious, or what have you, that he was arrested as well because he tried to protest with the homeowners in Brooklyn about how this is unlawful and how it's illegal, but nobody cares, right? He got arrested too, and he's a congressman. Thrown to the floor and arrested. It's crazy. It's insane.
Crazy. Wow. So wait a minute, let me ask you one more question real quick. So just to make sure
I'm on your side.
I'm hearing this right. Is it possible that you could be paying a fraudulent agency for your mortgage and stuff and not know it's fraudulent?
Yes, if you are taking if you are, hold on one second. So like if you sign, if you are going to take equity out of your home, for example, or refinance, however you want to, it's a lot of predatory lending that goes on, right? And a lot of these that are just not credible. They're not, but you don't know that. You don't know that, right? You're thinking like, oh, great, they're offering me this loan. I can pay it back by X or Y, but not realizing probably that the document you signed in fine print, it probably states if you don't pay this back by this amount of date, the company becomes co-owner or sole owner of the property. And this is why predatory sort of practices are so bad, because they know who to go after, right? They go after the most vulnerable types of population. So they're very clear about, they know who's the senior citizen that owns this brownstone. And remember, we're talking about New York City, right? And you guys know there's not a lot of space in New York City, but if you live in New York City, period, and you have property, that is prime real estate. That's prime real estate, And with all of the gentrification that's been going on, especially in New York City, primarily, these are the things that starts to happen, right? The rabbit hole goes really deep, but this is prime property, literally, right? So if you have a family, they've been there with over 30 years. I'm sure, her great uncle probably paid probably 100,000 for the brownstone, if that. Now, right, it's probably worth 5 million. So you're talking about a lot of money, a lot of wealth, a lot of it's insane. It's insane. Okay. No, Dulcie, Niche, what do you guys think so far?
Is Dulcie on there? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I think it's crazy that, like they can pretend, because if I'm understanding correctly, it's like you take a loan against your house, but then this fraudulent company is reporting that they're the owners of the house and you're not paying your mortgage, so they can
Right.
foreclose on it.
Right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And what they'll do is they'll put the public notice on the next door neighbor's door, to say like, oh, there's an auction, or you might start getting these cold calls from like different people talking about, do you want to sell your house? And you're like, what? I'm not selling my home, right? Like, what are you talking about? But when she mentions like it's part of a crime syndicate, I perfect word, because they're all in my opinion, right? You got the NYPD, you got the mayor's office, you got Letitia James, supposed to be the Attorney General of New York, and she's the one that actually, if I'm not mistaken, part of her campaign was on fighting deed theft, but she hasn't been too effective in doing that ever since she got into office. Go figure. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Why is it so big in New York? I understand that this happens everywhere, but not to the extreme as it does there. So why you think that is?
Because it's prime real estate. It's prime real estate. The bottom line is, no matter where you go, I don't care what property you buy in the 5 boroughs, right? I'm not even talking about upstate New York. I'm saying in the 5 boroughs of New York City. I don't care what property that you buy. That is prime real estate. Period, point blank. Just because it's in New York City.
Especially
Everybody wants a piece of the pie. That's part of the reason why. Also, I think we also have to remember that New York is sort of like the financial capital, if you will, right? You got Wall Street, business deals left and right happens in the city of New York. So it's prime real estate. That's it, that's all. And a lot of gentrification has happened. And funny enough, a lot of what's going on is not so much by like white Americans. It's predominantly Jewish people that are complicit in doing these things. Literally. So you'll go to a neighborhood like a Bed-Stuy or like a Brownsville or Crown Heights, for example, or even in Harlem, right? And it looks completely different. The fabric, the demographic, it looks completely different. So it's like the culture, the history, the heritage just is being taken away. And a lot of it has to do with fraudulent paperwork. But this is nothing new, because again, right, history repeats itself. This has happened for generations. Again, think about what we were talking about, what was going on in the South, right? Now they have these ear law legal centers all over the South to help descendants of people who lost land. Maybe their great grandfather owned this, owned that, is no longer in the family. They lost it because of predatory practices, and now they're fighting to get it back. It's no different than what's going on in Brooklyn, So I just think it's prime real estate. There's no such thing as bad property, especially in New York City. So
stones. Oof.
Yeah.
They mostly old people had those brownstones too. And you're right, they do, because I get those calls all the time. They have even tried to go through my son.
Yeah.
Calling his phone and everything, asking, do you want to sell your property? And all this. We're like, how these people can get our phone number? I don't keep the same number a lot. I'm like,
Yep.
how are you getting my phone number?
It's very sad. Yes, archive. It's very different. It is very different. Absolutely. Okay, Niche. We can play a little bit more.
This summer, and I saw the dumpster here, and I try to like talk to the neighbors, like to get information. They were just like, At this point, we don't care. They died during COVID. They were like two brothers. They died.
That lived in that house.
That lived in that house. Yep. And they probably took that one too. Well, if they're selling them, that's maybe $3-4 million. They're selling it for more, but a lot of them, they just rent them out. Wow. The one that I showed you, the Woolworth across from my house, each floor is $5,000 to rent.
Yeah.
Oh. So you see,
and
Nisha, you heard that?
They didn't get any permits. They didn't go through any city. They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Nothing. They just went in there and just took it over. And it was the same thing. It was a family property. This property here is This property here is a family property. The sister, I don't know if she tried to get a mortgage. She did get a mortgage on the property. It went into foreclosure. And I don't think it went into foreclosure for non-payment. I think the siblings was trying to help repay or do something. They think they signed something over to her so she could be the power attorney to orchestrate whatever needs to be orchestrated in the property. And they fought them in court. They had like 4 different attorneys. And then they end up fighting them in landlord-tenant court, which that's not the court that they supposed to have been in. And then they told them they had to move.
When did this happen?
Oh, this has happened recently. They last month, right? That's Aisha. Yes, last month. So we went, and so this is their neighbor, and their neighbor was destroyed. He was like, oh my God. He said he doesn't even want to live here anymore. Like, he lost his best friend. He was like, this is horrible of what happened. She ended up moving with the sisters. Let's see if Matt could come on. See, those are the same thing. You see, like the chains, like those
have like these signs.
Telltale signs, yeah, definitely telltale signs.
The criminals feel emboldened for everyone that is a victim that does not speak up, that they get a default judgment on. There are many families, the first default judgment, they're out. They're out in the street.
Yes.
And that happened right here in Tompkins and Madison about 2 years ago. One default judgment, they came to the door and told everybody, you got to get out. Mm-hmm. And the whole house was empty.
Yep. That's how easily they're doing it.
Again, even on Quincy, there was an elderly lady. And that's the other issue. They say, oh, people are signing things. But people are walking up to people's doors with suitcases of money.
That's the same thing Kay was saying.
Woman came and said they're coming to my house at night with flashlights.
I've been through that.
Suitcase of money.
I've been through it. I've been through it personally. So, and I'm not elderly, right? So you could imagine an elderly woman who's living by herself, and people just roll up on you, and they come in a limousine. And I was right in front sweeping by my tree, and this guy just pulled up. I knew him from nobody. Like, who owns this? You selling or what? I was like,
level of violation is unreal.
The violation, the disrespect. People keep using the terms investors and real estate developers. If you have to have 10 people in cars to descend on somebody, to physically take something from someone, how is it yours?
Right.
This is the thing about neighborhood and community, that when you start stripping these things away for a cookie cutter mall-like neighborhood, you lose. I used to walk, my elementary school was PS 305, which is 3 blocks that way. I used to be able to leave my house here, walk here, where that green is there.
Store?
That was a little Greasy Spoon.
Okay.
The little candy store there.
So yours is there.
And I would get my little glazed donut and eat that while I walked to school 2 more blocks. And I didn't even have to worry about crossing the street, anything. There were neighbors and people who knew me and would see me walking. And my parents and grandparents felt comfortable enough to let me come to and from school. My family has been here for over 80 years as homeowners, and 100 really from immigrating here from Trinidad and St. Kitts. So when we say we're rooted, we mean it for real. We were one of the first 3 Black families to move on this block. So this block was pretty much all white when we moved here. And so much so that my great-grandparents couldn't even buy the house directly. They had to hire a proxy, which is a white person, to go to the closing and purchase it for them.
What year was that?
This is 1940 something. And especially when you think about segregation and time leading up to that, there weren't a lot of spaces for Black people to socialize freely or safely. So I can say our parlor was definitely a haven and it was multi-generational because it was
Okay, you
my
can stop it there,
great-grandparents
Niche.
and their peers meeting and socializing and talking. It was their children.
Thank you, baby. So they're going to be going, so the rest of it is just they're going to be going more into the history of Brownsville. They're going to be going to different brownstones, talking to different families or what have you. The person who did this documentary name is Jennifer Kings. So I really do, if you guys have any time, check it out because it's very interesting and it's very sad. Very, very sad. Niche, I put something in your back chat real quick, before we start talking about it. Can you play that for me? It's the last clip.
You know
High
what, that
vibrations of Lilith.
elders. I really feel bad for the elders.
Yeah.
Because what they're gonna fight with, especially if they don't have no family to fight with them. That's a shame.
That part. Or don't have the capacity, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not know how to do it, And then when you have
got a judgment on there.
Yeah.
That's terrible. That is terrible.
Very much so. Very much so. Oh, okay. So remember, at the beginning of this, I was mentioning the congressman that was arrested when he had tried to join, and they arrested him. They threw him to the ground and arrested him. His name is Chai Osei. I'm probably saying his name wrong. Forgive me. But you could play it. It's only a few minutes, I think. There's no volume.
Pavement pretty hard today.
Brooklyn council member Chai Osei released from police custody this afternoon.
I'm sorry if I'm a little spacey. My head hit the pavement pretty hard today.
Police pushed councilmember Osei to the ground and arrested him as he tried to help a constituent, Carmela Charrington, who was battling eviction this morning from her Bed-Stuy home.
It's horrible that they would do that to even him.
Osei has been working to help Charrington reverse what she says was an act of deed theft. Bad actors, who she says duped her elderly father and stole the title to their Brooklyn building.
We've been in this property for over 60 years, and we were trying to explain this to the courts and let the courts know that whatever they did was illegal.
News of the arrest hit as Mayor Zohran Mamdani was attending an unrelated news conference in Queens.
He's like face down on the floor getting handcuffed. Okay. Are you able to comment on?
I mean, that's incredibly concerning to hear. And that's exactly something that we're going to follow up on.
Mayor Mamdani promised to make deed theft one of his top housing priorities during the campaign.
The council member is rightly passionate about tackling the scourge of deed theft.
But Mayor Mamdani's NYPD quickly today coming under scrutiny for its handling of the situation, which began when marshals and the city sheriff this morning called for police backup. They said protesters had made it impossible for them to complete a court-ordered eviction that had been signed by a judge. Osei said he would file a misconduct complaint.
They slammed me against the concrete.
Mayor Mamdani later posted he had seen the concerning footage and was in touch with Commissioner Tisch about the nature of the arrest.
As soon as I saw that video, that's the conversation we started to have, because what New Yorkers want to know is that everything they're seeing is actually in line with what it should be.
Outside the 79th Precinct, Council Speaker Julie Menin also said she had spoken with Commissioner Tisch.
I spoke to the police commissioner to ask for his immediate release.
The NYPD says their takedown of Councilmember Osei was within department guidelines for an arrest involving someone who they say was trying to commit an act of obstruction of governmental administration. They say that Councilmember Osei resisted officers' efforts to restrain him and pushed past the police when they tried to stop him from blocking the eviction. Osei and other council members said more needs to be done to stop deed theft, which they say is up 300% in New York City and disproportionately targets senior citizens and communities of color.
I went up to Albany to pressure the governor to do right by the people of New York and do right by Black homeowners and keeping them in their home. The governor bailed on our meeting.
A source close to Hochul said Councilmember Osei had been invited to attend a meeting in Albany with the governor's housing team, but not with the governor herself. A Hochul spokesperson said in a statement, Councilmember Osei has been a strong advocate for his community, and the governor is relieved he is out of custody. No New Yorker should be cheated out of the opportunity to keep their home.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and
Okay,
top
Nish.
stories on the NBC News app.
Okay. So what do you guys think?
I just think it's sad. I think it's sad and it's scary. It is scary. It is very scary because these people don't even know what to do. They're thinking their house is paid up. It's terrible. And I mean, by them being, elders who probably fought in a war and everything, there's no help. And I'm saying there's no help out here for elderly people. For people that are on disability, Social Security, they don't care. They give you the bare minimum of what they could possibly give you. No, it's not enough. They keep putting the prices up for your housing and things, your mortgage and things like that. But a lot of times the elders can't. They can't afford it. There's no help for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really sad. I was talking to Judge Joe Brown. And he's trying to start a campaign on trying to see how he can assist with, trying to up the amount of Social Security that the elders get and Medicare. Everything is it's horrible for senior citizens. I just feel real bad that they can just steal their houses like that. It's terrible. Where they gonna live?
It happens all the time. It
Yeah.
happens
Where
all
they
the time.
Where they gonna live at? And now that they see that this is happening a lot, you would think that here in New York come in and say, yeah, they are attacking the elders. They're going in the Black neighborhoods doing this. If they see that this is a pattern, you see what I'm saying? I'm wondering why they're not doing anything about it.
Because they're in cahoots together, Freedom.
Mm-hmm.
One band, one sound, one mind, literally.
That is terrible. Once people of color start rioting and getting out here acting out, that's the only way we're going to have to stick together and fight against it.
I think it's going to take, not even so much of rioting, right? I think more so we just need to get more educated and more serious about paperwork, in my opinion, right? And, when we talk about ending generational curses or what have you, I think part of that is, make the older generation not always being honest and truthful and transparent about their affairs. And then, because you mentioned like what happens if someone passes, they pass away, it goes to the next rightful heir. But if the heir doesn't know or have no clue or wasn't shown, wasn't taught, it's easy for things like this to happen. And I just think that like we need to have more conversations like with our people, with our kin, not for the community, but I'm saying like if you have a home, for example, and your children are going to inherit this home, they need to know where your documents are. What does it say in the will? What does the language mean? All of that needs to be discussed, because there are ways to avoid that from happening, and even the predatory lending, which is illegal, that it's supposed to be illegal, but we know these things still happen. So I think in terms of effectiveness, it's just like we need to do our due diligence as well and do better when it comes to paperwork and understanding what's in the paperwork, right? And making sure that our kids, grandkids, whomever, is clear and knows what is theirs. How much do we owe, if we owe anything, that type of thing.
And now, and going into this conversation is making me think of even the insurance companies.
Yeah.
Too. They play games. You got home protection, all that. They ask you all your health issues. But what if in the middle of that you get sicker? You know what I'm saying? And then you die of cancer, but you didn't have it on your insurance from the beginning because you didn't have it. You know what I mean? At that time. And here it is. You done paid all into this insurance, and they said, "Oh, well, she died of cancer." You know what I'm saying? And they said, "Oh, well, we can't pay you the insurance money then because you didn't have cancer on there. No, you really got to be careful on every little thing. Accidental. If you don't die accidentally, they're not going to give you the money. All you could pay in it every single month, $65, $75. But at the end, if you ain't died from whatever they have on there, whatever, like accidental death or something you read on, they won't pay you. You have to be careful. You know what I said to my son just yesterday? I said, you know what, every month I'm going to start putting $200 away until the day I die. Because I don't trust the insurance company, even though I got insurance, you know, but still, I don't know if I trust them. You know what I'm saying? I need to have a separate bank account and put money in that every month, you know, to make sure that my children get something, you know, besides the house, you know.
Yeah. Dulcie, Nisha, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know, as far as what you're saying, as far as making sure people understand, I don't know why it's so hush hush. I guess even talking about death, it feels like, oh, I'm pushing it on. I'm talking about something and I should wait, or people are like, no, I don't want to hear it. But so many times people are just told you're the beneficiary and that's it. Like, beneficiary of what? Like, where do I go? What is, like, people do not know anything besides that, and that's how they take advantage of you for sure. Like, even unfortunately other members of the family will take advantage of that because you don't know what they're the beneficiary of. So many people hear, oh yeah, they didn't have anything, they're not passing down anything, you know, after someone tells them, I made you the beneficiary. Like,
Yeah.
so it's so important we understand, you know, everything and have those conversations, even though people don't like talking about death. It's just important to have those conversations like, hey, I made you this. This is what it gets. This is how you go get it, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's talking about it all
You
the
know,
time.
it's funny that I noticed my mother-in-law always dealt with this Jew lady all the time, right? And even when she died in 16, she was over everything. She was able to cut a check for my husband and send it to us. And I just never understood. Like, I don't know if that's some New York shit or what, but I just never understood why her name was Vicky Skilowitz or something like that. Anyway, she a Jew.
Vicky Skilowitz, okay.
Something like that. Anyway, and her son was Alex, and I would like whatever my mother-in-law needed to do financially, Vicky was over it. And I just never understood that. And it was crazy. I don't know what the Black Jew relationship is in New York, but it's crazy to me.
It's insane, and that's exactly who's doing a lot of these fraudulent predatory lending practices, and that's a good point, Niche, because probably what happened is that your mother-in-law probably had this Vicky lady be the conservator over her or quote unquote estate, right? You know, where they're supposed to allegedly act in the person's best interest, but we know that hardly ever happens. So like they become the conservator over the estate. And that's usually how it's, and it could be due to age, it could be because of illness or disability. And here's the thing, and this is why, like, again, this is why they target older people and senior citizens, right? Because they're limited, right? Like, so, you know, she's probably taking what the lawyer says, or the person who's going to be the conservator. You know, of course they're going to say, oh, we're acting in your best interest, I'll make sure this gets paid, that get paid, boom boom boom, and not realizing you done gave somebody else control over your whole damn life.
And she did. Cause you know, I wasn't privy to a lot of that information until his mother started getting sick, and then we would have to frequent New York more and more and more, like 3 times, 4 times a year. And it was like Vicky Name always came up with everything. Like his mama lived in the projects his whole 50-something years. She was in the same projects, and she had so much money. I didn't even understand where the hell she get it from. I didn't understand why it was divvied out in the nature it was. Right. But the relationship with blacks and Jews is crazy, and it's like they water tastes better or something. I don't understand. That's crazy to me. But also make sure, like for instance, my family, we all talk. We are very close, like my mama's siblings and the rest of us. So we make sure we know who insurance. Everybody got insurance policies. We all know who the beneficiaries are. We all know where the paperwork is at. We all know all of this. And if y'all don't know, y'all need to know. And another thing that what we really need to know, y'all need to know Social Security numbers. Like I know my mama's Social Security number frontward, backwards, sideways. I know my mama date of birth. I know where her insurance policy is at. I got all her stuff online. Me and my mama bank at the same bank. Just because if anything, I could go ahead and whoop out of her account into my account right quick. Ain't nobody got to know nothing. So it's just it's because I'm the only child, first of all. So I'm supposed to know this. And any kids supposed to know it ain't about, if y'all can't ask y'all parents what their Social Security number is, y'all relationship ain't good. And that's just real talk. So y'all need to really think about that. You have to know these things. You have to know where paperwork is. You have to put things in trust to avoid probate. You have to do that. It's not hard to do. Take one day and get your paperwork together. It's not difficult.
That's right.
And I was gonna say two of those things, basically just saying the whole trust thing. It's sad the way we have that conversation in the community, because it's such an important conversation, but we've never had it like in the real. It's always based in some fraudulent, either trying to scam people or based on identity, when it should just be about the trust and how to set it up and that aspect. But then the second thing I was going to say, like for me, my dad, I think it comes from a place where they're not being realistic, or they're not thinking like all the possibilities that could happen. Like, so for my dad, he told me he was going to make me the sole beneficiary, but that was the soul of the conversation, because he was doing it to be like, oh, you'll take care of your mom and your mom will have all this information. Well, then my mom died first, and then we never revisit the conversation. So though I ended up finding it in like the paperwork and stuff like that, but it was like more insurance companies even in the paperwork in his like stash. So I'm just calling around like, hey, does he have a life insurance with you? Okay, no. Does he have a life insurance with you? Until I finally got to it, and they're like, yeah, you're Dulcinea. So it's like, oh, finally. But it's just that their plan and your plan is not always going to be the plan, no matter how great it sounds, whether you think, oh, well, my wife will be living for this moment and other stuff. You just never know. So you have to plan for every case scenario.
That is such a fact. And giving more information out, Nisha, on that trust situation, and even putting it in what's that? LLC. A lot of people say do that too. But I think the trust thing is more important, explaining that to people. Well,
the trust, the LLC can be the executor of the trust, but all those things, we just don't talk about it in that realism type of aspect. It always got to be associated with some more stuff. I want you to be a citizen. Like, come on now, let's just talk about the trust and how to set it up. But I hear that too, that it's better that the trust is set up as a business, and then you make people be, you know, the co-owners of that business when it comes to family, because you're just adding more safeguards.
That is a very
So
important
true.
conversation. I want to learn more about that myself. And so what you're saying is, Nisha, that stops any probate?
Yes, because probate happens when it's a problem, when it's a dispute, when it's I should get that, you shouldn't get that. But when everybody already know what's going on, you don't even need to have the courts involved. So, because they getting something out the deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's really unnecessary, and it's sad that a lot of people have went through probate. My mama's boyfriend right now, family, is going through probate, but it wasn't really like a dispute or anything. It's just how he wanted to go about it, because it's a lot. It's about 10 heirs, and so now they should be cutting the check within the next week or two. But it been in probate for like 3-4 years.
Mm.
And it's just a lot. They got a couple of different properties in there. But the fact of the matter is, you didn't have to go that route. And everybody is not that knowledgeable about certain things. You would listen to people, and this man was the sheriff of Gainesville, Florida, and he still went that route. But it's just, regardless of what you do, you still need to be knowledgeable about certain things, and don't just take the Mundane's word like this is the way you should go type stuff, because it's not. I don't know why people think like it feel like everything they say and do is right, and it's not. It be a way to trip us up a lot of times, and it's crazy. And a lot of people think, oh, they just got it together. Listen, I work for a PEO. I see that these businesses, they doing bad. Like, I got clients that NSF every other week. They don't make payroll. They act like they borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. It ain't glamorous for everybody, and they might live in this big nice house and all of this, but it ain't that good, because I can see it. I see it every day.
Right.
It's not that good. So do due diligence for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I know one thing, we need to have a conversation on that trust situation and how to make it work for you. You know what I'm saying? Because other people doing it. So that's what my kids do. They work in probate.
Yeah.
Actually, my baby daughter, she's one of
I'm
the
trying to
managers
share this.
at a probate company.
But we should get someone like her to come on and talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll see what she says. My son works there too, but he works in the computer processing stuff.
No, that's real. I was trying to
I would love to have a person who specializes in making sure the trusts, and I mean, we could all see about who we may know that can have that conversation with us.
hold on. Yeah.
Yes, as long as it's not an L or a B. No offense, we can say that out for someone else.
But
we gonna pause on the L and the B and just get someone that's LLC certified.
I know that. Certified to make right about that. She ain't never lied. That's for sure. Now that's a good conference to look. She don't talk about.
Can't stand y'all.
It's not L or A, it's LLC.
Right. Niche, can you share the article I just put in the back?
All right.
It's not even an article. It's just we're talking about the trust.
Oh, I got to share first. That's how it's gonna happen. Hold on.
Okay. Okay. Oh, It just went down, Niche. Can you enhance it a little bit?
I can
Okay.
try. I can try. Hold on. Let me see.
Perfect. I think that's good. So, just talking about what you guys was just mentioning, Nisha was mentioning about the trust, and so it says a trust can be better than a will because it avoids the public court process called probate. It keeps your financial affairs private and manages your property if you become sick or unable to act. With the trust, you can bypass court, so assets in a trust go directly to your family without a judge. There's faster results with a trust. Heirs get their property in weeks or months, while probate takes a year or longer. Lower costs, you skip expensive court and lawyer fees that are tied to probate, right? Like Tanisha's point about going to court and being tied up for years and years and years, because it's a money grab. You know what I mean? It's a money grab.
Very. Mhm.
That's right. In terms of privacy and control, it stays private. A will becomes public record. You want to read, but a trust remains completely private. It sets rules. You can choose when your children or heirs get their money, such as giving it to them in stages or only for school. And it can also help if you are sick. A trust names someone to manage your money right away if you get hurt or sick, unlike a will, which only works after the person dies. So I just wanted to share that real quick for information because you're absolutely right in terms of a trust being better than a will in terms of protecting assets, you know?
Yes, yes, it's very important. It's very important, and I plan to get with family just to make sure that we already got the insurance is not an issue. Everybody covered.
Yeah.
And now just want to move forward with everybody, because our parents is getting older, and we just had the oldest pass last year. So just looking at the reality of, seeing our aunts and uncles, and then now they getting older.
Yep.
And just looking at my first cousins, and we talk. So I asked them, because I got an aunt that owns a lot of property. She owns damn near a whole neighborhood, and I already know that she's the one that's probably the most straight that I think, but you just never know.
Right.
You never know. She got 3 kids. She got about 20, 30 properties. But I don't know if she ain't really the one to talk to, so I might have to talk to my cousin. But then when I talk to him, he don't know. So, it's just
it's important.
If people get out, it's important, and if people get out of their feelings and talk about what's real, then we can avoid a lot of issues moving forward. And that's how you're going to create the wealth.
Yeah.
By passing it on instead of letting these other people get their hands on what you and your family don't work so hard for.
That's right. That's right. Or
I wonder what it is when you got more equity in the house than what you paid for it.
Yep. That's when they become vicious. That's when it becomes the gang mentality, and you start getting all these notices about, oh, you have been approved to refinance at this low APR rate. And
I got a lot of in my home.
Yep. Those are the best properties to go after. Those who has no debt on the home, like the mortgage has been paid off. That's the perfect property to go after. And most people in those situations, they're gonna be elderly people, right? So yeah, it's insane. It's insane.
It really is. This is a good conversation. Very, very informative. Especially, talking about the trust and things is making me be like, man, we talk about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I'm just glad Niche brought it back up again.
Yep.
Because it's put me on my P's and Q's because, honey, come tomorrow.
Now, what do y'all think about, last question, what do y'all think about refinancing?
I don't know if And don't it start all over again or something if you do that? When you refinance or take a loan out or whatever, don't your mortgage like start all over again or something?
No, you're gonna pay. It's like, go ahead, Nish. You got it. Go ahead.
No, it doesn't start over. You're just you basically refinancing the bottom line with a lower interest rate. So that's what, and it can make your monthly payments lower, but it's going to extend the loan because now if you want it lower, anytime you lower it, it's going to extend it. So you really have to really think about, is it worth refinancing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can actually borrow against it, and people don't know that about insurance policies as well. Like you can get insurance policies against it instead, and as you're paying certain parts of the insurance policy, you can get that living and pay that back. Of course, this is for the people that are going to be obviously responsible and stuff, not just spending money crazy, but that's where a lot of people, a lot of others get to not utilize a lot of their liquid assets or anything. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but like they get to like play around with borrowed money. So they're not necessarily paying for things out of pocket. They're always borrowing against their assets, against the next thing as far as it. So it's always a thing where, okay, now I get more money and a different insurance and policy through this and this. And that's where they're getting all these different assets.
Yeah.
I asked her too, because she trapped and said your time period restarts with new interest rates. Like, I don't know why I got confused with that, but it, I'm listening to what Nish said, but it did. Someone has said about something restarting.
No.
Like you said, it's kind of it is restarting in a sense because it's making it longer. You got different interest rates. Your amounts may be cheaper.
No, it's not restarting in the way.
It's just longing. It's just elongating it being paid off because now you're adding a different. If you were going to have it paid off in 10 months after you refinance it, it might be now 45 months, even though it lowers the rate in which you're paying for it. But really what people don't know, and they don't tell you, and they really, really push against it, because I know my friend was telling me that, like, since he was in a good state and getting his home, he was doubling up. So instead of just being, because they're only putting a portion towards paying off your mortgage and the rest is going to interest. So if you pay your mortgage that one time, anything else is going straight to the principal. So they'll be like, are you sure? You sure you don't want to put this to your next month's rent? No, put it towards my principal. So, and that's how people are paying things off faster. But, people will be like, oh, no, I want next month's mortgage to be paid. That's fine, because they'll talk you into it and not putting that towards the principal.
Girl, I've been living. Listen, you can live in your house for 10 years and then start paying mortgage yet.
Wait, say that again?
You can live in your house for years and you'd be like, well, damn, I done paid this amount of money every month. Why is my mortgage not going down? You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking like
that's why I'm saying, because only so much of it goes towards your actual principal. The rest is interest. So they could be like for your car, for instance, you could be paying $500 a month for your car. 50 of that is going towards the principal. Like, so when you go to double up, what they're going to push you to do is be like, no, make that next month's instead of it going towards the principal. Because when it goes down towards the principal, that actual house payment, that's when it's going down, because you paid your mortgage. Now you're putting another $1,800 straight to what you owe, straight to the bank for the principal, and they don't want you to do that.
They don't want you to do that.
They love that interest, baby.
Yeah.
Come on.
But once you pay all that interest, your mortgage payment actually does go down some.
Yeah, once you put it to the principal, your mortgage rate goes down because you owe less.
Yeah.
So if you put 10,000 to the house in principal because you're paying it off sooner, instead of it being 20 years for you to pay off your house, if you can cut it down to 15, cut it down to 10. That's what they don't want you to do, because all that interest is added up for the 20 years for it to be paid off, not for you to pay it off in 10.
Right. I was like, what the easy? Yes.
And make sure you have a record of everything. And if you need to set up an online account, please do so you can look at it in real time instead of waiting on notices in the mail all the time, which can be sent in error. Look at everything all the time. Just always pay attention to your stuff. Pay attention to your credit reports. Pay attention to everything. Don't be so willy-nilly. And Freedom always say, well, Nisha, you don't care about nothing. This are some things that I care about. I care about the finances. I care about I don't have kids, but I care about my family and where they're going. So that's what's important to me. Not a lot of this other shit that is irrelevant. What's important is making sure that my family is good.
Yep.
And what we're talking
because it starts at home.
Is very important. Very important. And it just makes me feel bad because a lot of people, like Dusty said, don't want to talk about death. They don't even bring up stuff. You know what I mean? And when it's too late, it's too late. You can't tell somebody something you already going. You know what I mean? So yeah, these things are, and I do that. I have to say, I'm one to do that too. I'll be like, I'm gonna get my kids over here and we're gonna talk about this, and it just seemed like it just don't happen. So I gotta force it, make it happen. Just cook a Sunday dinner and say, okay, y'all, we gonna have this conversation. And you know, as soon as I start bringing up, well, y'all know I'm, you know, and my kids they like, Mom, I don't want to hear that, Mom. I don't want to talk about that, because you know. Kids don't want to talk about it as much as you don't want to tell. You don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it either.
Shit, well, you better.
Well, maybe just get to the nitty gritty. Don't even be like, you know, I'm this age, this or this. Y'all need to know this is what I have. This is what you need. This, that. Just set it out there. So, because that's what people don't like to hear about the that part of reality. I'm gonna be gone, but it's like, hey, like at the end of the day, this is forcing it because these are the things we need to hear.
Yeah. And you know, my Kendra, Annie's in real estate. She's in real estate. But my Kendra, she, you know, she the one in probate, but she the one keep it together. You know, she the one that really needs to sit down with the conversations and stuff.
Or Freedom, you can do this if you don't want to. If you don't want to necessarily have that conversation, you could type something up and give it the each one of them. Type where your insurance policies, the numbers, who they're with, where your paperwork is at, everything. Just have it all out. And print it out and give it to each one of your kids so they'll have that information.
They'll have it, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like I said, people don't want to have that conversation. And you know, when you just experience death like we did just recently, and now they don't want to talk, they just still, I think it's because they still going through it about my sister passing, you know. So they don't really want to talk about it, especially not with me.
Yeah. Yep. Stop the secrecy.
But it's not a secret. It's just, you know, a conversation that people don't want to have.
Yeah. And I mean, we're getting older, and as much as people don't want to hear it, I just have to push that your plan ain't always gonna work out. So even this whole thought process of being like, I want to give it to this child because this child will maintain the other children and they're more responsible or anything, you don't know if they're gonna die first, and that's a hard truth to swallow. So at the end of the day, they all gotta know. They just all gotta know.
They just all gotta know.
Yeah. Big on that.
Dulcie always talking about getting older. Dulcie, you still 20.
I am 40. Okay. I'm up there.
You finally got to 40. Did you get the 40? Yeah.
No, not yet, but I'm calling it.
Yeah.
2 years.
She always.
But I will be planning on a 40th. So they'll be extravagant.
That will be nice. That would be nice.
Okay.
This is a good conversation.
Yeah.
Really. To put you on your P's and Q's and makes you try to get ready for things. And that trust thing is something I've really been thinking about. So I think I want to go all into that, find out more about it. See if I can get somebody to come on here, or one of us get somebody to come on who specializes in that type of thing.
Yeah, so paperwork matters, right? Getting our
Yeah.
affairs in order matters, communicating with your people, whoever that person or people are matters. You know what I mean? And it's okay to, and when you don't understand something, ask for help, right? Like, and that's the other piece to it. You know what I mean? Like, don't have shame. Don't feel, oh, I don't want nobody in my business. No, baby. Right? Like, yeah, you want to protect your assets, right? And you want to do everything and, you know, possible to do that. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, I agree with everything that you guys mentioned. Especially the trust.
Especially
big time. Big time.
And then with
big
those,
time.
you can make an LLC part of the trust, or I mean, those things are important. I guess you gotta come up with some form of business, but at the same time, you know.
And also what happens too, where these like we were talking about like how Nisha, when you were talking about your mother-in-law, about this woman, right? No family relation, but having control. And a lot of that happens like especially when senior citizens, if they go to like a elderly center or like go to a senior citizen kind of assisted living thing, where it's like, oh, everything's all included here. We feed you, we do X, Y, and Z. And then what happens is the checks that you get every month, right? Like that senior citizen collects every month. It doesn't go directly into the senior's account, the what do you call it? The senior citizen home, or the somebody within that facility is now your conservator, right? Or now is your guardian. And so that's how that happens as well, because they're like, well, we're the ones taking care of you. You know what I mean? We're feeding you, you're laying here, this, that, and the third. And so the money that the senior citizen is getting, the elderly person is getting every month, is now controlled by like the nursing home facility that they are living in, and that happens all the time.
And they
all
take
the
the
time.
whole entire check too, the whole Social Security check. Now the nursing homes and stuff have it.
The crazy part about it was that she wasn't even elderly at the time she met Vicky. She used to clean her house or something like that.
Who, Vicky?
So yeah, my mother-in-law used to clean Vicky's house.
Oh, Vicky's house. Okay.
Right. So that's how they met. And then whatever happened in the midst of it, Vicky became over whatever my mother-in-law had, and she had her ass some money. And I don't understand where she get all this money from. Like when she died, we had to, get all of the things out of the house. And the amount of money that we found in the house was crazy. So she had money everywhere in little pockets. We had it took 2 days because, and I'm talking about, we were so tired. We had a U-Haul full of stuff, bringing it back to Florida. We ain't even made it to out of New Jersey, and we had to pull over and rest. But it was, I just don't understand why this lady just bent over her stuff like that. I mean, and it's crazy, but you just have to be on top of your stuff.
Right. That's right.
It's very important. It is very important.
That's right. All right, you
But it's
guys.
possibly what she knew too, which is why she had all that money. But that's the main thing, kind of like what I'm getting with this trust thing. It's better to be like someone that is willing to tell you. So I'd rather have someone teach me and charge me than someone that's like, oh no, I'll help you and I'll do it for you. Because it's like they have that leverage over you because you don't know. You don't know what they're doing. All they're doing is being like, oh, I got it. And then you get the dividends on it. And when you're getting the dividends, it's looking good. You're like, damn, this is a lot of money. So a lot of people settle for that, but they don't know what's really happening in the background or how the other person is profiting.
Exactly.
That's true.
Well, stay on top of your own business for real.
Stay on top of your own business. All right. Well, so the next thing I wanted to talk about before we wrap this up real quickly, because I know that it's been definitely a hot topic, is what's going on with the young man Nolan Wells that passed away, that was from Mississippi on 4th of July weekend. Are you guys up to date with that case, ladies?
Well, I have heard about what's happening, and people are snapping about it all over the Instagram. So
Yeah.
Not really up to date, but more it's a lot of mixed information. You know, things came out. We thought it was 4th of July. They saying that happened in June. So it's just a lot of mixed information that I'm seeing right now. Other than I did see someone that really was as a lawyer on YouTube, and they were kind of breaking down the whole aspect of that maybe the parents are looking for a more accidental death because there's a bigger payout. So who knows?
Yeah, it's mixies, real mixies. So Nolan, yeah, and it's so sad, right? Like, so he was Nolan Wells. As a matter of fact, I could share it. Let me, guys, hold me down 1 second. I want to pull something up to read. Y'all got, just hold it down for 1 minute.
there's been a lot of
Y'all better make sure y'all kids listen. Please know who y'all kids' friends is, regardless of what.
He said, because it's all over Instagram, and the people are saying, if my child left with you, my child better come back with you.
I mean,
that's true, Niche. You even need to have sometime their friends' number, you know, because you're right. I know my son is a grown man, and
No, she trapping. That's just real. Like, if you the only one, if you the token, a whole bunch of white people, it just screams. Right. You really want to go? Like, no, that's no. No matter how cool they seem, you know, all the parents. If it's just one other and everybody else is white. I need to go. Do we need therapy? Why do you even want to go out with this group?
Right. And they were saying something about his phone. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have his phone with him or something. It's just been a lot of talk about it. And like when it's my turn, I got to let y'all know what's going on in Delaware too, because it's been riots all over the place. And hopefully I can get for next week for this police brutality. They just doing real crazy stuff.
Okay, Nisha, I have put it in the back chat.
Okay.
Yes, you heard she trapping. Welcome, y'all. Welcome. The link is dropped down. If y'all want to hit the link, you're more than welcome to join.
Going on in Delaware. Yeah, it's been crazy here. I mean, crazy. They is going crazy here. They is not playing about Rel's son.
Okay, hold on. Let me add it.
Plus News, I'm Janavi.
Okay.
CISO Assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help you? Of course. How far is the word coming up, sir?
Breaking news coming out of Mississippi. A little over 20 days after Nolan Wells' disappearance and death, there now appears to be a major break in the case that the public is finally hearing. Yesterday, we will release an extended version of the audio call his friends would make to the CITO company when they alleged they were having issues with their boat and was sinking.
Okay, how many adults on board?
There's 0 adults on board.
There's nobody on board the boat?
No. Nobody here is over the age of 21.
Sir, that was not the question.
Now, this version we shared, originally obtained by TMZ, would only capture when you first hear the driver of the boat speak with the operator. Now, late Saturday night, local outlet WLOX would go on to release a completely unedited version of the call provided by the Mississippi Department of Maritime Resources. And in the first few seconds appears for some that not only Wells was on the boat with his friends when they left Horn Island, that he also appeared to have passed away amongst them. At the top of the call, while hold music played, you can hear panic from an unidentified young woman who appears to say Nolan, followed by, "Oh my God." Now, as the driver of the boat tries to explain the situation regarding the boat itself, you would then hear a male voice in the background seemingly yell, "Wake up, wake the F up."
CETO assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir?
Now, of course, due to the conversations in the background not taking place a part of the actual call, the way some are hearing this could be challenged by those who choose not to see it that way. Now, as an attempt to better make out the background chaos, we will remove the hold music at the beginning in an edited version.
To connect you.
CETO assistant, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir?
Now, to note, we as well personally can't help but to hear what many are now picking up, as well as potential's final moments, now that this version of the tow call has been released. Now, for some, as the call continued, there appeared to be other questionable moments in the background for listeners, as the boat driver, identified as Wyatt Pyron, continued to speak with the operator. Like at the end of the call, when you would hear the called CETO captain express that he got a direct call from the grandfather Pyron, who would tell him that a tow was no longer needed. This for some would be the beginning of a cover-up to minimize witnesses.
Hi, Captain Seth. This is Vicky from International. How you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. I apologize ahead of time. I really do. You're going to have a fee for service come up under Jerry.
Okay.
It sounds like a bunch of kids on board on Horn Island. He's letting me know that his father's a member, but he can't give me any information. And he's saying the boat is sinking, and he's on Horn Island. It's just unfortunate. He's just a kid. There's a lot going on. So
Right.
he said there's about a lot of people on board. He says he thinks about 7. I'm guessing they're all under 18.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be rude. He wants you guys to go out there and unpump the boat and then tow it in.
Do you know what kind of boat it is?
He said a Triton 24-footer, but that's all he can give me.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat. And
Is it
he
Jerry?
said that Jerry. Yeah, he said,
Okay.
I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, he'll call me back. So I'm guessing that they may have figured it out, because that's what he said. So they're in a panic and their boat won't crank.
Yeah, they're in a panic.
Since the beginning of this case, many have questioned Wells's friend's story, as many things appeared inconsistent throughout, and those online will call out the entire situation as being a cover-up of the death of another Black teen in Mississippi. So what happens next? Given that this call is now officially 22 days old, we're certain the local officials and investigators have examined it by now. And given that agencies like the FBI are involved, we can also be certain that they have the resources to completely clean distorted audio with specialized forensic audio tools that can isolate speech. Now, according to reports, the FBI has perfected this ability since the 1960s as a way to improve distorted speech from wiretaps, 911 calls,
you can
and
stop it.
covert body wires. Now, when what we unveiled is the case, and we all have now witnessed that Nolan was back on the boat that day where he potentially lost his life, many individuals can now face consequences.
So you heard in the audio when he was like, one of the kids in the back was like, "Wake up, wake the F up." Y'all heard that?
Yeah.
Because remember the initial story was that they left him on Horn Island because he wanted to stay and hang out or something, some craziness like that, right? And that they took his phone or he left his phone in a boat and he was on land. And now we're hearing with the audio a little different story, right? And you hear them in the back kind of freaking out, like, wake the fuck up, wake up, wake up. So we know foul play is definitely involved. But anyway, ladies, what were you saying? What do y'all think about this?
This is crazy. I'm saying this is a real crazy situation. I think they hurt that boy. I do. I think they're the reason why.
And this is the Deep South. Let's start there. And to Dulcie's point, right? Like, if you are the only kid, right? If you're the only pepper amongst the salt, you know what I mean? Like, there needs to be some type of conversation. But I'm not putting this on Nolan and but we already know historically what happens, right? It's like it's an innate thing. And to your point, when you was like, Freedom, when you said, when you leave with somebody, when you go somewhere with somebody, you're supposed to return back with them. You don't just leave. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just leave your friend. I mean, we get taught that, and it's clear that foul play was involved. It's clear. And I know that they hired an independent autopsy, but the autopsy didn't really come back with conclusive findings on what was the cause of his murder. But yeah, it's a very sad thing. It's very sad. Very, very sad.
And all of them know what happened. They know what happened. And trying to act like to lie and say he wanted to stay there. Well, and then they had his phone. Well, if he wanted to say, how was he going to get in touch with anybody to come home?
It just doesn't make sense.
Crazy.
The story in of itself doesn't make sense.
So does it make you feel bad or like exonerate the girl, because this was the girl's story and kind of like they were really throwing her under the bus, because the girl was like, no, he went back on the boat, he didn't stay with me,
right?
And they were like, oh, he was staying with that girl. So when her and her family was like, that's not true, she got a lot of steam from a lot of people, like, what's going on? She's a part of it or anything. But does this moment now exonerate her?
You know what? I don't know. I think that because she really wasn't supposed to say anything, right? Like, you know how they say the old boys club, like,
right? Like, it was really like the family's under fire, and if they weren't trying to use them as a scapegoat, she probably would be quiet like the rest of them.
There you go. And then, like, the parents, I know one of the kids, his stepmother is a judge in the county, right? And so you have that element, because at first, law enforcement in the town that they're from is like, oh, we have it under control. We're doing everything in our power to get to the bottom of this. But we already know nobody trusts that. Oh, we don't trust that. You know what I'm saying? That's a red flag. And so I know I've seen Al Sharpton up there, some of the more like prominent Black figures, just to get the attention out there. But it's unfortunate.
And that's why people are saying that it's Ben Crump that may go after the accidental death, because he's really not a criminal lawyer like that. He is more of a lawyer that covers that kind of side of civil and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Really sad.
But you know what? It also matters in the conversations that you have with your kids. And I think sometimes people forget where they come from and who they really are. And, all of this, can't we all just get along bullshit and thinking that everybody is we're in 2026 now and everybody is just all on the up and up and everything is hunky-dory and good to go. That's a problem.
Yeah.
So you really need to have conversations. He should know. But if you're being raised by parents that live in La La Land and rainbows and Skittles and caramel cakes and stuff, if that's their realism, what can you do?
Yeah. What can you do?
That's right.
Man, oh man.
It's a shame.
Wow. But
It's
this was
just,
yeah.
he's so young. It's just a shame. Don't even get a chance, man.
Well, ladies, listen, it's a Sunday evening. If y'all don't have anything more to say in regards to what we're talking about, we can start wrapping it up. Oh, she trapping 215. That's Sakina, y'all. Hey, Sakina. We haven't seen you in forever.
Hey,
Sakina.
Hey, Sakina.
How you been?
Honey. The Taurus energy.
How you been, mama? Yeah, so we just go, all right, so this was a great conversation. We could just, do y'all want to say anything else before we land?
Girl, no.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for rocking with us tonight. Interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I'm really into that deed theft thing, right? Because it's literally home. It hits home, and so many people have lost property because of fraudulent things like this. But that's why it's important, like we all said, to go over the documents with our people, right? Stop being secretive. Being very transparent, putting things in a trust, making sure you have life insurance, like all of the things that that can assist, especially when it comes to death, So.
And don't let your insurance lapse. That's another thing I'm going to say. Don't let it lapse and then you don't have it and you think later on you can get back on it because the price change. Know that. So.
Hell, they're not even trying to cover people no more. You hear me?
Yeah, that's what I'm
They
saying.
are trying that life insurance, man.
Be like, I can't get back on the same plan now because now you got a bump on your arm. I'm just saying.
It's terrible. No,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
Really
terrible. Terrible. People paying into life insurance and then something happening and now they can't collect or they're fighting the insurance company just to collect. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. But yeah.
It's high as hell, everyone.
Just got to do our due diligence, read the fine line and all that kind of thing. So, all right, y'all. It's been real.
Been really real. Real.
It was a great conversation. Again, thank you guys. Thank you to the cousins in the chat. We appreciate y'all. And we wish you a wonderful week.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Sakina, girl.
Bye.
Is it low? I'm going to just end it, y'all, because it's low.
Unscramble your mind. 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 Stop wasting time. Unscramble your mind. Stop wasting time. Unscramble your mind. Unscramble your mind. Unscramble my